Welcome to the Early Years Insights with me, Kathy Leatherbarrow, and today I have got Sarah and Beth, both Wellbeing and Safeguard Officers at Eden. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
That's good. So let's have a little discussion about men in early years, because they are amazing
Yes,
in early years
absolutely.
and just in any form of childcare and development. They enhance a setting
Tenfold, yeah.
immensely.
Yeah.
So we want to encourage more men
Yeah,
into the
we do.
sector, don't we?
Yeah,
They're
definitely.
so beneficial. But also, there's a lot of support for men in early years as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
You know, because they can feel very isolated
Yes.
being on their own. Do we support much men in early years?
Yeah, a few, but not as many as we'd like to.
Yes. There's certainly more room for more support for men in early years.
There
but
is.
we do have a few.
Yeah, we do have a few men that work in our settings across Eden, and we've offered support to some of those.
For a variety of different things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they are underrepresented in the sector. There's no doubt about that. And, it can be tough for them, but what role models they are when they're in setting and children gravitate towards them. They've got that positive male role model figure that that they don't have often in early years settings, and that's something that really is so valuable.
So valuable
for children and for other practitioners as well. To have those different perspectives, those different ideas and skills and attributes that men bring to caring for children,
and challenging stereotypes.
Absolutely,
absolutely.
And that can take its toll as well. I know you wrote a blog post on kind of the impact of kind of that lack of representation and how important it is for us to, and I think as a company, to promote that men in early years. And I think that that's something that certainly within our teams we try to kind of promote and get that awareness out there that, it is a really challenging kind of sector for a male to choose to go into, but when they do, it's so valuable to them and to the setting.
And to themselves.
Yeah.
I know because a few men that I know that work within the sector, they find it really rewarding.
Yes,
because it is a rewarding job.
Absolutely. And but I think they've all, when I've spoken to them about it, challenging those, stereotypes and those barriers is tough, and at times, could have pushed them to walk away from the sector. It's we need to empower more men, don't we?
And I think it comes back to just generalized like mental health in men, and the lack of representation that there is. And I do think that today's society is getting better at that representation of the importance of men's mental health and men's well-being.
And
I think
specific
just generally
mental health groups for men now, isn't there? The men's clubs and I was stood at the train station again this morning at the train station, and there's posters on the platforms that are written and signed by men to say it's okay to talk, seek some support and how they've felt when they have accessed that support, and that's really great to see. It's it's putting a message out there from the male community that that there is that support
and generally
out there. It's okay to talk.
There's a lot more stigma for a man.
There is,
and that's not necessarily fair, I don't think.
No.
But in early years and as well in mental health services, and like certainly the males that we've supported in our role have had to overcome stigma in both of those ways. They're asking for help with their mental health, but they also work in a setting where they're massively underrepresented, and that's really difficult. And it comes down to like us being able to equip settings with the skills to be able to, how do we promote that like fair, inclusive looking for males to come into the setting to take on that career, because it is really rewarding, and it's valuable for them themselves, but also for the children as well. You know, not everybody has that, you know, positive role model at home.
Yeah.
And as in a setting, we are modeling that for young people going into school, like before they go to school, and in those really, really, you know, times where they can be molded into the little people that they're becoming.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to have strong males in settings is important for little boys, but also for people who don't have that role model at home.
Absolutely, and that's what I was going to say. Some, you know, for some children, you know, if a setting is lucky enough to have a good, positive, you know, male role model,
that could be their only role model.
That might be their only male role model within their life, isn't it? That has a positive impact on them.
Yes,
you know. But all the stereotypes that can, you know, a caregiver, a caregiver being male,
and it's not us undervaluing females, because we're massively overrepresented in a setting. You've got that key worker, almost motherly figure within a setting that a child will go to, but having a male is invaluable.
And just, you know, about recognizing emotions from a male to boys within your setting. You know, about it's okay to cry. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to care. And be kind. It's so rewarding and so invaluable, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
How do you think we can make early years more attractive to men? It's hard.
It's really hard.
I think it needs to come from you know, from the bottom, really, from school, from you know, that advice at school, and not just allowing for,
I think, when you're in school.
When you're in school, you know, people talk about, oh, well, you could go into this and you could go into that, and often, predominantly, childcare is talked. You know, you talk to the girls about that. That career.
Be
path.
interesting if it's a career path within an all boys school.
Yes, it would.
Of course,
yeah.
And I think it is just something that naturally, wrongly or rightly, is just something that is talked to about girls. Courses like health and social care at school, coming from somebody who has worked in a secondary school, courses like health and social care in a school might be lucky if they have one boy in the class, and that, you know, they're learning those basic skills that almost gets them interested in going into a career in early years. And so, are we getting that input in maybe like RSE curriculum or like PSHE, where there's those career options, and knowing that that is a career choice for males as well? Because I think it's almost not advertised as a choice. For them,
absolutely,
and it should be, because you know, there's lots and lots of males, I would say, even kind of post school and at university, that might want to be that positive male role model, and are interested in it.
And it's about just going back to, you know, what are your strengths? And you know, it may well be that, you know, your strengths are you're caring, you're kind, you've got buckets of empathy, you want to help people, you're
energy,
very nurturing, and you know, and it's like, so use your strengths and your skills and your personality to suit your career path, and early years could be one of them, couldn't it?
Absolutely.
You know,
and I do think that we are working towards kind of a more fair split generally in terms of careers, and there's lots of things I think that schools probably are doing that will help with that as well, in terms of choices and removing that gender stereotype, because it is a gender stereotype, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And it affects not just early years, it affects loads of different career paths, but also like around mental health and things like that. You know, there is this massive stigma that seems worse for males than it is for females. Which,
and you know, as a setting, you're wanting to promote, you know,
inclusivity
throughout everything you do, and you're very aware of it. You know, from, you know, your most deprived children to, you know, your children with health needs, to all these different factors. But it's the care that you're providing, promoting that as well. You know, we allow little boys to play with dolls in the home corner. we allow, girls to pick up the spanners in the mud kitchen, and do all those things. But us as practitioners, are we representing that? And are we mirroring that kind of behaviour, and skills?
And there's definitely more work to be done throughout education, obviously starting with early years, but throughout education, males being represented in education.
It goes down, doesn't it? You're more likely to see more within high school.
Yes.
A few, less within primary school, and then the stats for early years are just are shocking, really, aren't they?
Yeah.
But us, obviously, with all us being early years, we think it's the most rewarding part of education.
Absolutely, of course.
And it's just want more men.
We do. Come on. And I would say more recently, I think we have had, I would say in the last maybe 6 to 8 months, I certainly have seen an increase in men coming forward. But obviously we only see a select few of that.
The ones that are struggling or need that extra support or need that learning support. So, there's probably more than we're aware of within Eden and with, undertaking an apprenticeship. But, we're certainly seeing more of the male and the men coming to us and asking for support, which is also great.
That's really good,
and that's what we want.
Good. And acknowledging that they need that support, or they just need somebody to listen to them, or they need some help with particular things.
Because I know it's tough for lots of people to acknowledge mental health and ask for support, but men find it even tougher, don't they?
They do,
even tougher.
And they do. They find it hard to say that they're struggling, or that they need some support with the self-esteem or the confidence, and or whatever that might be.
I think it's just societal expectations generally, isn't it? Around males and what's expected of a male and what a male should be doing. And we are working to challenge that. And then and they need to be strong.
Need to man up. Was the saying.
And I think there is a lot more now societally, particularly around social media and things like that. And there is a lot of value in social media in terms of promoting men's mental health and promoting men seeking out support. But I do think there's a long way to go. We need to promote that. We need to remove. We talk every single day. Sarah and I must say removing the barrier so many times in a week. But we need to, because otherwise, how are we going to make a change? For us, it's about there not being this stigma. Around asking for help. I ask for help. I ask Sarah for help. Sarah asks me for help. That's what being in a job, you want to be in a situation where you feel supported, and that's what.
And sometimes it's
the ultimate goal
is okay not to be okay.
Yes,
isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think we forget that everybody struggles with something. Everybody has an off day.
Yeah,
everybody. Even the strongest of
people. And that doesn't mean that you have got anxiety or you are depressed or you've got a learning need. You can just find something difficult sometimes, and that is okay.
No. And you don't have to stick a label on it, do you?
No.
It doesn't mean you're being diagnosed with anything.
No. And it's sometimes just I always describe it. I know that when I worked in schools, I would describe it as like a toolkit. And if you've used all the tools in your toolkit, you're going to have to ask somebody else to borrow some of theirs.
You are.
And that is always a way that I like to think about it. That actually, if I've used all my tools in my box, and I know that Sarah has a different experience to me because we come from very different backgrounds in our past roles, that I will sometimes ring Sarah up and be like, actually, I feel like you're best placed to help me with this. And can I ask your advice? And just that's okay, because I think we put this pressure on your line manager and your room leader, and there's this natural hierarchy in early years, but we want to feel like we can go, can I just ask you that question? Can I just check this? It doesn't mean you don't know
everything.
Yeah, absolutely. We're not expected to know everything.
I think there's, every day's a learning day for everybody, isn't it? I know I know that's like a cliche, isn't it? But it's true, isn't it? We're all learning every day. And it's about opening up that sort of avenue to take on new knowledge. And the only way you're going to take on new knowledge and new skills and new techniques is to ask for them, find them, and utilize them. To elaborate that on a little bit more, do you work then much with the learner's mentor? Have you ever can you and do you reach out to their mentor
absolutely.
as well?
From like a skills coach within Eden perspective, absolutely. So a learner who has a learning need or a mental health need where they require maybe just those additional adaptations and additional support, we would write them a learning support plan if they want to. Like we say, it's always kind of on the learner's terms. But that sounds quite drastic, but it's actually just I'm writing down the things that help you and what your skills coach can do to help you. That's then shared with the skills coach. 9 times out of 10, we'll have a chat with them and we'll say, these are the things that person finds difficult. These are the things that actually they excel in, because while ever there's things we find difficult, there's always something that we excel in, and there's always something that we find easy. And that's one of the things I always ask. What do you find difficult? Well, let's identify the challenges, but also what are you really good at? And it might be actually, I prefer discussion-based assessment.
Because then that can provide the tools to get...
Absolutely.
To make those difficulties easier, isn't it, as well?
And that often feeds into what support we can offer. So what the skills coach needs to do. We also sometimes speak with mentors in setting as well. It's very much, again, on the learner terms. Sometimes a learner won't want their setting to be aware that they have a diagnosis of a particular need, and that's okay. We'll work just within kind of Eden staff, the skills coach being aware and the skills assessor who goes out to set him. But sometimes we will have those calls with employers as well. I know you've got a few learners that you'll have that kind of tripartite input, and you'll meet with the setting as well as the learner, and that's just as important.
Because for some settings, could be their first apprenticeship as well, couldn't it? And that's very different, isn't it? It's you're not just employing another member of staff, are you? Whether it be unqualified or qualified member of staff. And employing an apprentice is very different, isn't it? And the expectations for everybody.
You've done that a little bit, haven't you, Sarah, working with employers about kind of being an employer of an apprentice.
We've offered different types of support, really. So like Beth says, have those tri-party meetings, have offered mental health awareness support, the adaptations that a setting can make for a learner who's having difficulties with the mental health, particularly with anxiety and panic attacks, and
because we've offered that signposting to the setting as well as to the learner.
We've developed a leaflet for settings with different links to different advice and guidance around mental health, but also popped in there some of the really good strategies. I've worked in early years, I've worked as a manager, so I know those sorts of things that settings can offer. Having wellbeing champions, having a safe space where learners can go and just have 5 minutes if they need a break. Being able to talk to their mentor or their room leader when they do just need 5 minutes, and that being okay to step out of the room when they may be overwhelmed with something. Employee and all the other things that the wonderful things you can do, like employee of the month, all those recognition strategies that you can have in setting. So we've got lots of ideas that we can give to settings that maybe have not employed an apprentice before or have not come across anybody that they've needed to support with their mental health.
Because it can be very different mentoring an apprentice
and I think
than a new member of staff, isn't it?
And I think sometimes employers feel a little bit overwhelmed, or managers certainly feel overwhelmed by the pressure that having an apprentice brings to the setting, as well as the other challenges that brings. And when you're in a setting where you might have members of staff that need support, us being able to sort of offer that reassurance to settings when they need it, and signposting them to services that they could use as a setting.
Because apprenticeships are amazing. It's their ideal opportunity to sort of
learn on the job.
But also for the setting as well. They can mould and make this apprentice flourish into a great early years practitioner, isn't it? Within their setting, and be a real credit to them as well. Right, well, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Hopefully you'll all listen in to the next one.
Thank you.